Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I would like to show you containers, how to use containers in Synfire 2. So you see Synfire 2 in the background. And the question is how to organize your music here. And yeah, you have something that's called containers. But first, before we talk about containers, to better understand what's going on, we should have a look into the matrix. The matrix, okay, I don't know why it's called matrix. So in general, it's the list of instruments or the mixer panel. So every instrument you use is listed here. And currently there is already one instrument that's by default piano is in. And another instrument will be added here, or more instruments will be added here. And you will see why this is so important to know to avoid confusion. Okay, first, if you start, you have an arrangement. And this is just like a bar. Technically, it's also kind of container. And in a different video, I showed you an example with where I dropped something into the arrangement. And I said already that this is not the normal way you would work. And today I want to show you how you should work, I think. And let's start with, okay, we want to have one small piece here of figure. So I click right with the mouse and say new container. To make sure that the container is placed here in the arrangement, you should click on the arrangement and say new container. So it's in the arrangement now. Okay, so what do we see? We see here is the piano. This is the piano we saw already here in the matrix. And I will now already add another instrument. And let's say here use string pizzicato. I'm doing this to show you that, okay, because if I want to add another container here, okay, I have container B, and you will now recognize that the instrument is not in the container. So it's something you have to understand, that the container is a kind of view. It's a layer above. And so that means you see in any container all instruments. And in the container, you can define what to do with this or a different instrument. At the beginning, for me, it was quite confusion. It was quite confusing because it's so... I always thought the instruments in the container, but it's not true. Okay, the container is a view. So then we can now draw something. I will draw some notes, and here in the piano, and this is to create duplicates. This is just, of course, for demonstration. It's okay. So if I play this now, not so great, but you will see. And okay, this container I will remove for the moment. So I have container A. Something more. The container here displayed shows you how long this part should play. But there is also a feature in that anything you do here in the open container, anything you draw, that will be repeated if the container is longer, let's say here. So that means here, the left side is what you defined, what you designed, and the right side is the same, but it's a kind of repetition. You cannot modify it here. You can modify it here on the left side. And if you make the container longer, it repeats more often. So, okay, what next? Next is that you have this list here on the right side where you see a lot of attributes or kind of layers, and this layers is a layer on in the container. So that means at the moment we draw a figure. That's the kind of default here. A figure is how to play the notes. And you see many things more. Okay, but we come back later again. So at the moment we are talking about figures. So let's draw another, add another container. Here I click on the arrangement and add another container. It's the name B. So then I make this first one shorter and I move it below A. So A, B is just a name. It has nothing to do with notes. So you can also rename it. So, and enter some own text here. If I select this, now it's an important moment. I'm still on the instrument piano. And usually it's maybe not the best idea to draw here something in as well for piano. You can do this, but I think it could also have an impact on what is played. Let's see. Yeah, that's the point. So you can only play the instrument one in pair. So you can mix it by container. So I will remove it. So let's focus on the second instrument. I click here on the pizzicato, double click, and I draw something here, but I use a phrase library here, example phrases, and I will drop something from the arpeggiator. Okay, and so we have at the moment the combination from A and B container, so it plays simultaneously. And so A has a definition for piano, B has a definition for the pizzicato. Okay, you hear this now. Both are playing. So yeah. So what else? So that's just the figure so far. Then I show you something more. I disable the B for now. There's a context menu. I say inactive, so it won't play anymore. So I hear A at the moment. What I want to do now is to add another attribute, another layer to the container. So, and you have to understand that it is possible to add this into the existing container. Yes. Or I can also add it to another container. Let's first add it to the existing container. I'm scrolling down and I'm looking for something that we immediately see. It's the velocity. Okay. So I clicked here on velocity, but it's still showing me here the figure. So let's double click. Okay, now I'm in the container A. I'm preparing to change the velocity and I don't see the figures anymore. It would be great, to be honest, if I would see here on the left side that I'm now drawing velocity. That would be great. Okay, then I use this freehand tool and I will draw some velocity here. So yeah, this is something that's very confusing to me. So I think that's new. So if you double click on a container, it jumps to the overview. So, and this is a different thing. That's how it's going to be expressed rendered on the end. I don't want to see this here. So, okay, it's confusing. The question is for me as well, how to minimize this now. Yeah, here you can, you have but double view now. So that's, yeah, all these, how it behaves here in the grid is sometimes a little bit confusing. So, okay, I don't know how to minimize this now. That's, okay, good. Okay. So container A, the figure is here. I click on velocity, I see velocity here. So let's play this. Oh, doesn't work. That's interesting. That's not what I expected. Maybe because I did the velocity in pizzicato. That was wrong. Okay. Let's remove it. So I delete the velocity. I click piano. And I add it again. Yeah, hopefully this is correct now. Okay. Let's hear. Yeah. Now it works. Okay, so we have the container, and the container has the figure in the layer figure here, and it has a layer velocity. It's here. Okay, so if you want to delete it, the layer of velocity, click right, click on delete. There is, by the way, something that is really, really great. Many of those attribute layers, you can insert a template, and there are very good templates already in. So you should do some experiments, and let's for example add this one, and you see something. Many of those are kind of polyphonic, and if you draw, so you see this here because it looks a little bit more complex than what I draw. So this, when I think with the shift you can also do a little bit polyphonic, but to be honest, I don't know yet what effect it has then when it plays the whole thing. Yeah. Okay, I draw this velocity now in the container. I will press on the keyboard now undo to, no, I can also just remove it here. Here I will delete it. Okay, so in the container A there is only the figure. So if we listen again, okay, no velocity. So I can add a new container here. Can just rename it, and let's add to this container for the instrument piano the velocity, or here template. Okay, so means if I start from beginning, nothing changed, but if I move this in parallel, it inserted it. That's also way. Okay, I moved it to parallel to A, and now it applies the velocity to the piano. The issue here, if you draw it like this, you have to know what this additional container is doing. So because, yeah, I wrote here velo, and but velo for what? And okay, so you can do this. You should know that this works like designed, but it depends on the workflow, of course. So what else can you do? You can also group this. Okay, so I click with the control key, here and mark A and Velo and click right and say group. So, okay, now it's combined. And grouping containers could be also very interesting if you have something going on with different instruments, but they work together, so they must stay in that group. So you can group it, and if you then start dragging, dropping it around, so moving around here, so it stays together. Yeah, okay. Important part, of course, is progression. So what about that? Very important. So we can, let's remove this whole thing here. Delete, delete, delete. Oh, here. Okay. So, and I make this one active again. That's our arpeggiator. Okay, we want to create some music, and music needs harmony. So I created another container, and I will rename this container chords. And here we can change the color, make it this color. Okay, so then I move it to here. So I'm not sure if we can, oh yeah, we can change the order. Open the library and looking for example chords. So I'm working at the moment in the container chords. So it's marked. See? And I select here a progression, and I move it to the container chords. So now it's here. It has the same idea that it will loop if I create, make it bigger. And so it's just that it displays it here, the chords. Okay, let's hear first. Okay, so it would loop if I make it bigger, true. Then if I make the pizzicato here, the arpeggiator bigger, and if it's here, you will see it falls back to C major because it's just not defined here. So if I would make this container bigger, it would loop. So then it would render the arpeggiator with the chords extended to here. But let's assume I don't want to do this. I want different chords here. I click right on the chords, for example, and I can create a duplicate. So I just copy it. So this is a new copy. And I want to change something here. Let's say this one. Is there a quick way to change? Click on progression. Yeah. So just very quick. No. So drag and drop. Right, so I changed it. So if I go back to the structure and I toggle this, I see I have different chords in here. The arpeggiator I didn't touch. It just repeats the whole time. So let's listen. Yeah. So, okay, I think you should get it now. So you combine different containers with different kind of attributes. All containers are a kind of layer to the things, and yeah, that's the point. So I hope that I explained it well enough that you can already start doing something. Great. Regarding these different attributes here, you see, it depends a little bit on the version of Synfire we have. For example, a great attribute is something that's called shift. And I think I'll make a different video for that. But that exists not in the very small version of Synfire. Okay, thank you very much. See you then.